Welcome everyone, my name is Amazee and I have made this video today to introduce myself to you. I am inviting you to a event that I'm going to be doing very soon on the 6th of June, and also just a little introduction of who I am for anyone who is visiting my page and doesn't really know what it is I do. I am a vital dancer, vital development facilitator. I also practice EFT, which is tapping. I'm a practitioner as well. I'm also an entrepreneur. I run an eco-holistic cleaning business. Most importantly, I'm a vocalist, a conscious MC. I'm also writing my album, and that's coming up very soon, which is going to be integrated with the vital development method that I have learned through the years. And it's going to be a meditative kind of dance journey, which you can go into and listen to in the comfort of your home. In order for you to raise from the third dimension to the fourth, fifth dimension through dance. So activating the body, which is ever so necessary today in the world we live in. So my calling on earth, I believe, has been doing something big and doing something with my voice and with my experience in dance. I have had life experiences which have brought me to this moment now, and I feel that this is my time to give out what it is I have learned in my life. I will give you a little bit about what Vital Dancer is. So Vital Dancer is a method, it's a dance method which we use for us to be able to connect with the body, for us to be able to connect with our hearts, to connect with our different chakras, to connect with the elements, with the second dimension, with the earth, with fire and air and water, for us to actually feel these different areas within our life, and how to connect with your creativity via doing yin dances and dances of yang dances, which are more action and more power dances. So basically it's about giving intention to your dance. So for many years I just basically danced and I raved because I love dancing, and from a very young age I was into dance music. I was a massive fan of Madonna, but then also a lot of rock bands, and I was quite open to music, whatever music it may be, but music that made me dance really had a deep connection with me. So I had a rock band in Spain in 1999 for about 6 years. We recorded 2 albums, and we were quite successful. However, I was having most of my relationships in my life have been abusive, whether it be simply, physical, emotional, or just psychological. But in those years, I was quite young, and I was a little bit stuck. So I kind of decided to find my path, and that's kind of in the year 2000 is when I was introduced to Tantra and to that way of living, which is understanding that we are all made of energy and that we are energetic beings, and that there needs to be a balance between what you receive and what you give, and understanding that you need to nurture yourself primarily, and love to nature, love to life, love to oneself. That's where Tantra all begins, and I can go deeper into that in some other videos. But I decided to move to London, to the big city. It was either New York or London, but I was raised in Mallorca in Spain, in a beautiful island in a little village. And I decided to go to London to make it in the music industry. So first of all, I had a few opportunities come to me, but I didn't take them. I preferred to introduce myself to kind of experience the dance scene and experience the underground, and so I did do that. And I just really wanted to sing with DJs. That's kind of the vision that I had, and I knew that I needed to listen to the production, and I needed to just simply dance and go into the dance. So I would do that. I would go into the dance. And, you know, we've all, I don't know, some of you may have done it, some of you may have not. But, you know, when you take ecstasy or any sort of, you know, drug, especially ecstasy, it does actually open the heart chakra. Therefore, you are completely aligned when you are dancing in that state. And that is why a lot of us from the 90s who used to rave still are searching for that within us. We still search for that calling of wanting to connect with that heart within, you know, and it's really hard for us to find that, and we try, and then we kind of decide that actually no, the scene is over, it's all finished, you know, and that's never going to come back. And so I basically started singing with DJs, and I started just kind of vocalizing, and I would vocalize in Spanish, and I'd vocalize in English, and then I'd start doing like some tribal chanting, which came from my tantra times, where I was connecting with, you know, kind of vocalizing around the fire and chanting, and you know, I started speaking this strange language in the middle of the mountains with my guru, and I then would visualize that in the clubs in London, and I wanted to bring that tantric way of being into the clubs, and it was a whole experience, really. And I lived in London for about 10 years, and through this journey I was also experiencing some abusive relationships as well. So I kind of disconnected from my career, and life had other things prepared for me in some way. I then in 2009 had a severe chronic back pain which affected my body for 10 years, and the reason that the body pain affected my body is because I was suppressing my emotions and just thinking that I was invincible, and not actually crying out my emotions and not actually dealing with them, you know, just kind of numbing them out, which is kind of what a lot of us do. We just numb them out because we think we're invincible. And and then so I had this pain, and it went on for 10 years, and therefore I was, you know, became some sort of a granny. I couldn't really, you know, if I did things in the evening, then I couldn't do things in the morning, and then so I had to kind of really, and then I went through the whole victim stage. Then I had to kind of manage my pain and learn about, you know, I tried all sorts of different therapies, all sorts of different massages. But until I didn't actually tap in and go into the traumas and go into the work that I had to do, I didn't actually come out of that low frequency vibration that I was living in. So I had to shift my negative beliefs for positive ones. I had to start living with power and understanding that, you know, I am good enough, and I am not alone, and I am cared for, because all of these negative beliefs were running my life, and I was living such a low frequency that those negative beliefs and those negative emotions were creating balls of energy within my body, and they were going kind of into my tissue and creating these diseases. It was like a dis-ease in the body, you know, and that's why I had no water in my L4, L5. And therefore, that went on for 10 years. But through my healing process, I knew I wanted to sing. I knew I wanted to sing in clubs, but I knew I wanted to do something else with the dance. I knew that I was here to do something which was about healing people. It was about allowing people to connect and go deeper within the dance, you know. So this is why I searched online, and I was trying to find something, and I found Biodancer, which is a different form of Vital Dancer, but Biodancer was designed by Ronaldo Toros, which is a psychologist in the 60s, 70s, and he basically realized that actually through dance you can heal people psychologically, and it feels better for people that are sick and so on. But for his method, there was 3 years of training, and it was a lot of systematic written word, and I'm a very feely kind of intuitive person. So I then found Vital Danza, which is Patricia Martello, and she had trained with Ronaldo Toros, and she was before anything, she was a teacher and also an artist. She had gone into shamanism, and also she had had experiences with Tantra. So for me, that felt much more calling. So when I first went to one of her classes, I remember I just imagined and visualized myself when I used to do rhythmic gymnastics when I was little, which I used to love because it's all about expressing yourself and just flowing, you know. And so I really just felt like my inner child had come back. And at that point, I couldn't look at anybody in the eye. I wasn't able to look at people in the eye, and I felt shy, and I just didn't feel good enough, and I had my body pain, and I was just going through life, and I was living in fight or flight. So I was numb to any emotion or anything coming to me. If it was like I wasn't allowing anything to come in, but I wasn't allowing anything to come out. So that can be good if you put a barrier in front of you, but when you have that constantly, you cannot feel, you cannot sense, you cannot receive anything, and therefore you become empty as well, because you give a lot of what you have. Well, I was giving a lot of what I had in the past, and then I became pretty empty, and I was living fight or flight because of the traumatic events that had happened to me in my life. And I started, there's a lot of we do touch exercises and caressing, and even if it's just caressing yourself, just closing your eyes and just feeling your hands on your body, because your hands are healing, With these hands, we create, we produce, we make things. Our hands are the extension of our hearts. So it was a very healing experience for me, and also just to feel the support of others with me, that connection to humanity, that connection to other human beings that were also going through different experiences, different stories, but also connecting with those emotions, and just trying to get rid of the baggage, get rid of the stones, as Eldora Rose mentions in her videos. I love that girl. Anyway, you got to check her out on YouTube. So it's all about kind of releasing what no longer serves us. It's really important right now for us to do that. So Vital Danza is a fantastic method and way of healing the body through dance. Okay, so I've taken Vital Danza, Vital Developments with my vocal experience in the clubs, and I am putting that together to create something fresh, something new, which I feel that today, in the world we are living today, we can actually experience this, because a lot of people find it very difficult to go and dance without a glass of wine or a beer, or without having a smoke or taking some sort of a drug, or they just can't really connect until they actually do that. But this is actually the programming that we have had through so many years of our lives. It's the conditioning and the conditioning and the belief system. Because when we did go out and rave, we believed that, that was it. That was it at that time, though. However, we don't need to numb out those emotions anymore, those trapped emotions, those negative beliefs. When you were having a bad day, you just wanted to get to the weekend to actually get on it and actually forget everything and just, fuck it, have a good time, dance, release it, and boom, Monday you'll be back. However, that it's not going to function anymore in the world we are living in, because we have a job to do. We have a lot of work to do. We are now living in this, this globe as we know it is moving. It's moving, and it's expanding to a bigger, it's expanding in consciousness. It's like the system that we know as we know it. This might, there's a massive financial collapse at the moment, and I do believe, and I know in my heart that we are coming to a new world. We're coming to a new financial reset, but also our way of living is different. I mean, I feel that a lot of people now are going back to work, but there's something in them saying, hang on a minute, I don't actually feel like I want to go back to work. I don't actually want to go. So it's kind of like we do actually need to listen. We do need to listen to our heart, and okay, maybe you can't just not go to work right now, but go to work, but be aware and be conscious and be, realize that, there's not just this third dimension that we live in. The third dimension is what you can touch, it's what you can feel, it's what we see. That's all we see right now. But we can sense, and our intuition is calling and it's telling us, actually, you know what? There's more in life, I mean, you might be in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is when you start meditating and you start tackling your ego and you're tackling your emotions and you're realizing that it's really a little bit complicated, and oh my god, why am I feeling like this today, and why am I feeling like that today, and so there's a lot of work to do, and we need to find that space to be able to do that. Even if we are going back to work, we mustn't go back to how it was. This is a time for us to go back, but also be aware of what you really want to do, and what your heart is telling you to do, and your calling. And I feel that I've learned in my experience that you really need to trust. You have to trust the universe and be thankful every night for what you have. Be thankful from the heart and say it out loud. Write it down in a book. Just be thankful for what you have, and then you can ask for something. And it's amazing how the universe works when you're not needy and when you're not a victim. Because when you're in that state, which I was in that state when I was feeling my pain, it's very easily to do, like you feel identified to the victimism. When you do, accept and just be thankful for what you have, whether you are in pain, whether you've lost everything, it doesn't matter, because you're thankful for the little things that you have, and therefore the universe hears that and things will happen for you, So we're talking about, so that was my experience. And I feel that dance right now is going to actually help us. It will help you if you're busy and stuff and you can't go out. We can't go to events right now. So I'm designing this online, and I feel it's just so exciting, because what I do is normally a little bit like, oh, I don't really want to do that, I've got to have a drink, as I was saying before. But I think now is the perfect time, because you're at home. No one is watching. No one is watching. You can do these sessions at home on your own. Nobody is watching. And it's not just about sitting in front of your computer and doing your research and information, which if you are doing that is excellent, because we need to be looking at other informations, other narratives, okay? Not just your television, not just your, television, not just your one vision. You need to open up your horizons and look at the world in a different view, and believe and trust your instinct, and just kind of open your eyes to other information. But it's a lot of information happening right now. There's a lot of information. It's very overwhelming. Therefore, I feel that it is a perfect time to dance, to activate the body so that we can go in to those positive beliefs. So we can actually not just talk about power, not just talk about, oh yeah, I'm just going to leave that behind, going to move forward, it'll be all fine. No, it's actually dancing it, like putting it into your body, like really feeling that power, really feeling it in here and feeling it in your solar plexus, really sensing that you are standing on Mother Earth and on the ground, and nobody is going to knock you down. And when you start feeling that way through music, when you start feeling this, you start believing it, because, energy follows thoughts. So when you're focusing intentively with music, which is so emotional, we love music. Everybody loves music. So when you're focusing with intent in this dance, and you're connecting with the emotions, and you're listening to my voice guide you, and then you're going into the tune, going into the track, something shifts in your body, and you feel so alive after the session. And each session is different. Each session will have a different thing that we'll be working on. So I feel that this will take you out of the third dimension. This will take you out of just your everyday 9 to 5, back to normal. It's never going to be the same, guys. And this is exciting times. This is our time to dance that also, to feel it. You've got to feel it. And, Yeah, and nurture yourself with positive thinking, positive, beautiful information right now, you know? And that will allow you to shift to the fourth dimension and to actually work on your shadows, work on the shadows, work on the baggage, work on the negative emotions that are holding you down, you know? Find out why, work on your ego, you know? And ego is not a bad thing. I think if ego is coming from your power, it's great because it promotes you, because you believe in yourself and you can sell yourself. However, if ego comes from a lack, if it comes from neediness, then it becomes jealousy, it becomes anger, it becomes it's not good for the system, it's not good for you. So you know, ego's okay, but you need to be balancing out your body, balancing out all of your chakras, balancing out, you know, every single area within your body, and nurturing yourself and giving yourself that love. Because self-love is primarily, this is the first thing we need to do, is self-love and feeling grounded, having a base, you know, feeling like your base is your nest, and, you know, decluttering and making sure your home is the place for you, and making sure that you feel safe in this space, because this is the first thing we need to be doing, is feeling safe. So in order for us to move forward in our lives, and in order for us to help the planet, you know, shift and to become more of a community and to connect more with each other, we really do need to we need to let go. So it's like the planet is experiencing like a rebirth. You know, it's like it's April. Oh, it's not April now. It's actually nearly June. But the spring was here, and it just feels like, oh, when all the flowers came out and the smell on the streets, and it was like a new beginning. You know, a new beginning has commenced for all of us. This is a new beginning. It's a new life, and we all should be very excited about this. And I would love you to join me on this next event, the first official event that I'm doing on YouTube and online, which is my first experience. But I think the more of us come together and do this, the more we can raise the vibration on the planet, and the more you will feel more empowered, and you will feel happy and good with yourself. So I'm calling it a new beginning because it's all about you know, looking at our past and our life experiences and being able to be thankful for them with love, because they were provided to us via the universe with love for us to become who we are today. So without regrets and without, you know, and with compassion, really sense that everything that's happened to you is, you know, has only made you wiser today, you know. And a lot of our patterns and conditions belong to our ancestors or our past lives, or they come from our inner child who is traumatized today still with that same thing that happened to him or her in that time when you were 1 to 6 years old, or when you were younger. So we hold on to that. So that's why it's very important for us to consciously work on shifting our negative beliefs to positive ones. So it's all about shifting the base of the tree, you know. So in order to do that, we need to release what we no longer want in our lives, so then we can kind of be lighter and move forward within our lives. So we're going to relate to the phoenix bird, which is it's the logo of Vital Development, Vital Danza. And what the phoenix bird represents, I mean, there's loads of different stories. It's you know, Greek mythology. They say there's a bird from I can't remember the country now, Arabia, I think. But anyway, you know, the idea of the phoenix bird is it's an element of fire, and it's a story of a bird that actually it dies and it becomes ashes, right? And the story is that there's a resurrection, so it rebirths. So what this means is that, you know, there's life after death. You know, it just goes on, and it's like a circuit. It's a flow, you know, like when you die, you simply move on to another realm, you know. It's not like you die and that's it. So the phoenix bird represents that. So this is our opportunity to, you know, to allow to let go into the fire, to let go into the fire and our ashes, you know, whatever we no longer want in our lives, any conditioning or patterns, and release them into Mother Earth. Yeah, so we burn everything we don't want, we put it into the fire. That's what we're going to be doing at the event. And then from the ashes that rises up, and you rise up as a new being, as a new, you know, and you start seeing things in a different perspective, in a different way, with different eyes, with more color. Like you're coming into new life, you know, like you're a completely new being. So you have the opportunity to leave behind what you didn't do right, or whatever you felt that wasn't good for you at that time, or, you know, any negative stuff. You have the chance to leave that into Mother Earth, and that then comes, you know, then you're able to rise up as lighter, you know, lighter, to be able to see clearer and to actually connect with your truth once again, because it's so heavy what we carry around behind, you know, we carry around so much baggage. So I want you to feel how you open up your wings and you're slowly flying through your room like a phoenix bird, and seeing things from a different perspective. And, you know, we are actually going to dance this, and I want you to be able to open up your wings and really feel this with me. And, you know, it may seem really silly, but creativity, imagination, and going to that child within, and being playful and being innocent, and connecting with that sensuality, and connecting with yourself, and you know loving yourself, and allowing yourself to have fun, and to simply go deeper, you know. And when you are having a bit of play and fun, suddenly you open up these gates, and then you suddenly are connecting with, you know, something higher than just yourself. This is, you connect with oneness, you're connecting with everything, you know, you're connecting with humanity. Even though we're not going to be together in this event, we are going to be connecting with one another, and you are going to feel this energy. So if you feel that you are being caught up with negative emotions, or you feel that there's something stopping you from being who you want to be today, or if you're feeling that you're living in fear and you're trying your best to live with love, but it's too heavy for you, it's too much, you know, then maybe you'd like to dance with me and experience this on the 6th of June. So that's pretty much it. I will be leaving the link for the event below, and you know, if you cannot attend to this one, I'm going to be doing more events online, so I would love you to join. It's donations are accepted, but you know, if you can't do donations, then that's fine too. Lots of love to all of you, and I really hope that you can come and join me. I will be guiding you vocally through the dances and creating a journey that is going to be very powerful and shamanic just for you. Thank you so much. Bye.